Hi, this is Father Barry, Day to Day with St. Joseph. How are you on this Tuesday, March 9th? And we are looking at the book and going through 33 days of it. Just getting to know Joseph, and with a lot of help from the backwards here, the consecration of St. Joseph. And in this book, I am looking at day 23, Lady of Poverty, pray for us, or lover of poverty, pray for us. You can see a lot of these tapes are one draft. And St. Joseph was unpretentious, and St. Joseph was not embarrassed by his lowly role, at least financially, in the world. He was rich in spirit, and he was rich in his heritage of faith, but he was not material rich. And the book defines moments where it shows he isn't. And he is blessed by the Magi's visit and the gifts they give. Gets him over the hump, you might say. When Joseph is working as a carpenter, a lot of his wages are managed by the taxes of the Roman Empire. The whole country is under the Romans, and so nobody really makes a lot of money. And yet Joseph is a contented man to do what he can do. And as you go through this book of Lover of Poverty, to be detached from the world is a gift for people who don't need all kinds of material things or worldly things to get us by, to make us happy, to motivate us. When instead you have Christ in your life, as Joseph did. And the book says 30 years. I'm not sure if he had all 30 years with Jesus, but I know he had a lot of years with Jesus. And that's what makes Joseph rich. He's in the presence of the Lord so much, like Our Lady is. And the book talks about him as looking upon Jesus a lot. And it calls it a different kind of perpetual adoration. Today we have the Blessed Sacrament to adore. Joseph was pre-Last Supper, and so he was with the presence of the Lord bodily, as an infant, a child, a boy, a teen, a young adult, an adult. And he just loved Jesus. And as I was mentioning with a tape on jokes, just a few times ago. I hope you didn't take it wrong, because I think the relationship of Joseph and Jesus was the perfect son-father relationship there ever was, the greatest one. I think there was great love, and I think some of the things that we think were of Joseph and Jesus might be off. I think Jesus might have been jovial and joking a little bit with his father. I think that they were very honoring to each other still in the highest degree. And I think that Joseph understand that he had like more than a prodigy on his hands, and yet treated him as best he could as just a normal kid, normal teen, normal man. And they had a great heart-to-heart relationship, as did Mary with them. And I think sometimes we forget the humanity of Joseph and Mary and Jesus. And they had just a beautiful relationship. And they were so free of the things that normally weigh us down, all our sin. And they were so free of sin that they were operating in maximum humanity, and able to enjoy each other so much more than the normal. That's what I hear in this chapter about Joseph. What do you think? The second part of my reflection today is just about who is Jesus through the eyes of Joseph. And by the way, this is a statue we're considering to buy for the church. We have looked at it and we like it, and could be something you'll be seeing in 2021 in the church. We have a donor for it, so I'm excited about that. So I have this book called Who Is Jesus, and Who is This Jesus by Michael Green, and I'm going to read it as if it's written by Joseph, because there's no books by Jesus or Joseph, but Michael Green has done some thinking about it. And he says, we don't know even what Jesus looked like, but he was a Palestinian Jew. The color of his skin would be olive, his eyes brown likely, his nose hooked. Palestinian Jews had black hair, usually wore it long and carefully groomed, and they valued a full beard, and it appears on many coins of the day. His mother tongue was Aramaic, a dialect of Hebrew, which he would have spoken with a northern Galilean accent where he was brought up. But Jesus could speak Greek and probably some Latin and was thoroughly at home in the Hebrew scriptures. He wore a sleeveless undergarment with a girdle, the customary cloak and sandals, and carried a staff on journeys. And so some things about the physical Jesus, he would look like his mother, Mary, and Joseph's typical looking Bethlehem Jew with Davidic lines, and so Jesus would not look too far apart than his foster father. What about Jesus' personality? Jesus was delightful company to Mary and Joseph and to Nazareth, where he lived from a young child into adulthood. When he gets into his ministries, many people find him and his company irresistible. He's cheerful, he's positive. Jesus, interestingly, mixed with top people and street people. He was at home in a tavern just as he was in the temple. He could win the adoration of a crowd, yet love solitary and simple settings. He was an inspiration to the uneducated and the intellectuals alike. Although himself a carpenter devoid of theological training, he could attract and teach a man like Nicodemus, who had the highest theological training and social privileges in the nation. He could offer an entirely new life to a widely immoral woman from a hostile neighboral country. Indeed, though women were welcomed as an important part of his movement, he respected them and they were devoted to him. And all these lessons are learned in the home with Mary and Joseph, okay? Back then, a pious Jew usually thanked God he was not born a woman, but Jesus found himself loving to be around women and was not biased, and he loved little children as well, who often were ignored in his day, and took in the outcast and the outsider. So Jesus was really quite something. He was religious, but not so solemn and pious to be distant from people. He made God real, especially in his parables and his teachings. And when Joseph was raising him, it probably is something that he notices, some whole new look at religion that Jesus had. And he has a matchless life, just an amazing life. And his description of the love of God is like looking for a precious coin or a precious lost sheep. And he just says, we need to seek the Lord, and he will be found. And so Jesus, through the eyes of Joseph, an amazing life. Thank you. This is Father Barry, and Day to Day with St. Joseph. See you on Wednesday. Bye. Saint Joseph, lover of poverty, pray for us. Thank you for loving us in all our poverty.